Greetings, my magnificent ones. Sue Paulson here, your magnificence mentor. Welcome to Tea with Sue. Well, I'm feeling all relaxed because I just got back from a 1-week getaway in Jamaica. Now, I wouldn't normally pick to go quite that far away, but it was a wedding and the daughter of a very dear friend whom I've known for years and years and years and years and years. So I didn't want to miss it. So now you have to know, if you haven't flown in a while, flying is not like it used to be. I don't even want to say we're not back to the way it used to be. I'm not sure we're ever going to get back to the way it used to be. There are hordes of people at the airport. There are lines to check your bags or get your boarding passes or go through security or wait at the gate. They're long. And there's a lot of sitting around waiting for something to happen next. So it's not ideal, and it's not as I remember flying used to be. Now, you need to know that I love to fly. There's something about the takeoff and being up in the clouds close to heaven and just soaring to my destination. I love the landing. Mostly I love pretty well everything about flying, but I found that I was getting a little bit irritable about the way things have changed. So, and especially if I saw something that wasn't being done the way I thought it should be done. Well, that's not the way they should be doing that. And as if I have any control, right? Well, so it caused me to think about what I wanted to talk about today. This whole idea of when we're faced with a big change going on right in front of us, do we want to resist the change? Do we want to be right? Or do we want to be happy? Like what is it that we really most want out of the situation? So, as an example, when I was at the lineup, we had this long flight we did the overnight red eye to Toronto and then transferred to the next plane. And when we finally get to the hotel, which was 2 hours from the airport, we're standing in this long line waiting to check in to the hotel. And I'm going, oh, I was hot. I was tired. I was thirsty. I was hungry. And my feet hurt, and I didn't want to stand there, but there's nowhere to sit down unless you wanted to stand out of line, which I didn't want to. I wanted to get to my room. So we're kind of snaking through this line very, very slowly. And there's a part of my brain saying, wow, why didn't they organize this better? They could do. And these things running through my head as kind of a mental exercise, which was somewhat amusing when I thought about it, because it was a pointless exercise. Nothing was going to change what was happening. Well, I finally get to the last line, and you can see the desk. And so I'm going to be 2 or 3 before it's my turn. There's a young woman standing there arguing with the representative about something that wasn't working right. I didn't get the story. I didn't want the story, but you could tell she was getting more and more mad by the minute. And I'm thinking, honey, I don't think whatever's happening is unsolvable. And here you are in paradise. The beach is just a heartbeat away, and you're on vacation, and you're insisting on your rights and what's supposed to happen next, and on and on and on. So this little drama was playing out in front of me, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm grateful that isn't where I normally go. That is not my default, is to just bristle and get all up in arms about something, because I've come to recognize it doesn't serve me. First of all, this poor young woman that she's so upset with didn't cause the problem in the first place, whatever the problem was. And so why take it out on her? You spoil her day. And of course, the anger building up inside of this young woman is not doing her any good either. So I thought, wow, if you're not at home and things aren't going according to plan, whatever plan you thought was in place, then learning to be flexible in the situation and be adaptable is really, really key to enjoying whatever's going to come next, or at least getting through whatever's going to come next. So let me just explain what my understanding of the difference between flexibility and adaptability is. So being adaptable means you can change. You have the ability to go with the flow or change in the moment, or move from here to here. That's adaptable. Flexible is the willingness to change. So there's eventually we do become adaptable. It's almost like it's grow or die. Like you either get with the program or you're going to be left so far behind that it'll be bad for you. So we do eventually adapt to new situations. But the willingness to adapt, the flexibility to change, I don't see that there a lot of time. For a lot of people, that's really hard. I don't want to change. I like it just like it is. And I want what I want, and I want it now. And that's never happened to you, right? Well, I know it's happened to me. But over time, I learned that it didn't really get me anywhere most of the time. And all it did was get me so upset that I couldn't focus on whatever else was going on around me that was probably pretty good. So anyway, in contrast to this young woman at the desk who was having such a problem, I just patiently waited and got there. Was I feeling a little disgruntled because I wasn't where I wanted to be when I wanted to be there? Yeah, I was, just like everybody else in line was feeling the same way. But we made the best of it. And there was another person bringing around a cold drink while we're standing in line, which I so appreciated. And I thought, okay, this is good. So it's so interesting to me how we can spoil our own enjoyment of what's happening just because we refuse to have some compassion for whatever is going on in front of us and realize that things aren't the way they used to be. They're just not. Now, something you may not be aware of for yourself, and I wasn't aware of it either to this extent. These last 2 years, I've been living in so much more quiet and isolation that a huge throng of people where there's lots of noise was upsetting to me. And I'm going, whoa, what's going on here? All this noise, all this, there's music over here and there's people chattering over there. And there's all kinds of noises and sounds that were just bombarding me. And I turned to some of the friends that were on this trip with us. And I said, whew, I'm not used to this. This is a lot. And so what we found ourselves doing is searching out some quieter places to have a meal so that we weren't so bombarded with this whole, because it was an all-inclusive resort. So of course there's big buffets and people just swarming the buffets to, as if we hadn't eaten for 100 years or something. We're all in there, oh, what's here? And and after a bit, I'm going, oh, I think I'll just go over here and I just want to be quiet. So there were times when I flat out needed to leave all that excitement and go back to my room where it was quiet, go out on the balcony where there was some peace, look out at the garden below me and kind of regroup, pick up my book and read for a little bit, or just sit there and enjoy the ambiance, because it was too much. And I hadn't understood that until I was amongst that many people. Well, of course, it was even worse flying home because the airport, Toronto Pearson Airport, was just stuffed with people. I said, is the whole city of Toronto flying? Because where I'm from, the airport can be busy, but it's never that busy. and it's an old airport. So they're stuffing people into lounges where there's not enough room for everybody to sit. You have these long security lines, and there's a long way to get from whatever gate you came from to the next gate. So it was really quite a different scene than what I had been anticipating or expecting. Now, there were bright spots. You probably heard the news where people's luggage are getting lost, and they're getting stranded, and flights are being canceled. And yes, all of that is going on. And I was prepared for that. I thought, okay, well, what do I do if one of my flights gets canceled? Like, how is that going to all sort itself out? And I thought, well, I have some coping skills. I know how to deal with that if that happens. I won't necessarily be happy, but I'll be able to manage, and eventually I'll get home. So I was prepared for that eventuality. And I have to say, none of that happened for me. I had a pleasant experience going, and I had a pleasant experience coming home. And I recognized that whatever discomfort I was feeling was because I was tired, because it was a long time, and that was something I just needed to be prepared for. So a lot of it was just whatever was going on inside me. It wasn't what was going on around me. The people who dealt with us as representatives of their companies and flight attendants and so on, they were doing the best they could to make it a good experience. And I'm grateful for that. And I want to put in a shout out to WestJet right here and now, our one of our main Canadian carriers, who has had an interesting big battle to get back up and running again, and smoothing over some of the hitches and glitches with staffing levels and all of the attendant problems that have come on. And they were doing a great job despite all that they're faced with. So thanks, guys and gals, for all of the great work that you do, and to all the other airlines too. I mean, everybody's just doing the best they can. Nobody anticipated the onslaught of people who were just so keen to get out of their houses and go somewhere, and I was one of them. And so I added to the general chaos that was going on. Well, then I needed to take responsibility for this. I thought, well, I could have stayed home, I could have just not. But what I would have missed out on, I would have missed out on this beautiful wedding with people that I've surrounded by people that I've loved for a long time, and in a piece of paradise. The Jamaican people are so warm and welcoming. They love to laugh and joke around, and they love to treat people so well. And I felt just very welcome, and I enjoyed my experience. So think about this, my dear magnificent ones, as you're easing back into, or jumping back into, society as a whole. Pay attention to what you're feeling, and feel your feelings, but don't allow the need to be right, the need to have things, oh, excuse me, the need to have things not change. Don't allow that to swamp your boat. How can I be flexible in what's going on right now? How can I get my needs met without having to, come down heavy with a hammer? Like what is that all about? That's part of the emotional intelligence that I think is important. Well, I see the construction has started again at my place, so I better sign off. Take good care, my magnificent ones. You know you can, because you are that magnificent. We'll look forward to seeing you at Tea with Sue next time.